All right, so obviously you saw the title of this video. A goal that never ends equals a happy man. And one thing I want to say is I don't think that any man should ever look to be happy. And I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of time we equate happiness to pleasure. We equate happiness to what good times come, right? We equate happiness to when everything is going our way. And I think the problem with that is that when things are always going your way, when you're always rolling the dice exactly how you want to roll them, when the cards are always being played in your favor, and everything is going according to plan, you never ever grow. And what a lot of men don't understand is they go on their whole entire life looking for this happiness, looking for things to always be consistent for them, looking for things to always be in the right place. And then they realize that they're not growing in that time. They're not able to have their character revealed, which I think if there's a way for a man to be happy, there's two ways. It's having his character revealed, being tested, and then pushing through it, and then fighting for a cause. So this is where I'm going to get into the idea of setting a goal that never ends. And I'm going to start with setting the goal that never ends, and then I'm going to go into the deeper portion of it, which is fighting for a cause. And to break this down, I'm going to use my experiences in stunt riding, business, and family. And if it's your first time here and you don't know me, I'm Nate. I'm a stunt rider, content creator, inspirational speaker, and family man. And I've experienced this idea that I'm going to break down for you many times in my life. And I call it finish line syndrome. Okay. You get pumped up, you set a goal, and then the happiness is at the finish line, at the end of the goal, right? And to be honest, not a lot of people hit goals that they set. Okay. I talk to so many guys, in my friend group, networking, and in my private men's group that I have right now. If you're interested in that, DM me on Instagram and we'll talk about getting you in. So many guys are so focused on the finish line, but so many guys never even get to the finish line. They never even hit their goals. They never even live the life that they want to live. And so they're going through their whole life telling themselves, I can't be happy. Again, we're not chasing that. I can't be happy. I can't be fulfilled. I can't feel satisfied with myself until I hit this goal. And they literally never hit it. So they feel like their whole entire life and all their time is a waste. And habits and getting to that goal is a conversation for another day, but talking about finish line syndrome. And then what happens when you get there? What happens when you check that goal off? What happens when you feel like, because you will, when you first step into something, what happens when you feel like this is something that you can never achieve? But what happens when you believe in yourself and you work hard and you persevere, you do end up hitting it. And then it's kind of like this epiphany moment that you're like, shit, I never thought I would get there. I experienced this many times in my life. One, in stunt riding. Okay, so I was so invested in the bike. I was so invested in riding. I was so invested in just the game. I truly loved the game that I was convinced that I was going to ride forever, right? I was told myself always, my only goal in my life is to be able to throw my leg over this bike. I didn't even really have like a long-term goal set out or what I wanted this thing to look like. I was so focused on the day-to-day activity of just riding and just getting good that I never even thought about this. But when it came to the point where I realized, okay, I started checking all these boxes off and I started hitting tricks, and I realized like it came to a point where I wasn't satisfied with it anymore. And I couldn't really figure out why. And I started to realize it's because I had got caught up in this whole idea of getting somewhere. And this is where I want to start with this, is getting somewhere. I'm working to get somewhere. I'm working to cross this finish line. And then you realize the game that has now become of social media and marketing and sponsors and all this other shit, which I never got into riding to do that. This game never ends, right? Social media all in itself is a black hole. And, the sponsorships and all these things, like, unless you have a very specific vision that you want to go for, you're kind of just in this limbo at all times of like, who am I within this thing as marketing myself? And that became a goal later on in riding. But when I first started, it was never the goal. And I realized that I started to have this confusion and started to have this lack of vision when I started kind of wanting to market myself and wanting to quote unquote get somewhere. And So my mood around the bike and my idea around riding started to change, and I didn't like it at all. And I realized it's because when I first started riding, I set a goal that was never going to end. Every single day, I want to throw my leg over this bike, and that's all I care about. That's my goal. Can I continue to keep riding? That goal specifically right there, that would have never ended. Till this day, that goal still hasn't changed, right? I can still throw my leg over that bike, and I can still go out and ride it. But my goal changed. And my goal changed to a goal that had a finish line. I want to be somebody on the internet. I want to get sponsors. I want to, build a brand. I want to, market myself. And that goal, in order to feel good about it, must have a destination, right? I must have a certain amount of followers on Instagram. It's got to continue to grow, or I'm not satisfied. And as of now, I'm completely disconnected from that. I truly don't give a shit about it. If I grow, I grow. If I don't, I don't. I do it for the love of the game. But this is a moment, where I kind of got caught up in this bullshit, and I had to check myself. And I realized that my focus had shifted. Like, I was going out to ride to create content, which is fine because, I love documenting the process. I love making videos, but I started to get into this space where I'm like, why do I feel like this is a job? Like, that's not why I got into this shit. I didn't get into this shit because it's a job. I got into it because I'm Nasty Nate, because I'll die for this thing. Like, I'll go as far as I have to go to literally just be able to ride it. So what I'm trying to paint the picture as, when my goal was very simple, when there wasn't any type of accolades attached to it, sure, did I want to do dope tricks and did I want to be a great rider? Absolutely. But I didn't have these like goals that were so determined by other people, right? Sponsors are determined by other people. Followers are determined by other people. And I didn't get so much caught up in the followers, but I was worried about my internet presence being able to attract a sponsor or being able to attract some type of financial benefit. So it did play a part in it. But I realized my goal shifted from something that was forever, that truly didn't need anything but me and the bike, and then shifting over to, well, now all of a sudden people have to affirm me, right? And my whole vibe and my whole energy and my whole perspective towards the bike started to shift. And I absolutely hated it. And I'm so glad that I caught it. And I'm so glad I'm in a place today where I can shift my perspective back to the love of the game for the bike, because that's how I got good in the first place. That's how I became who I was in the first place. That's why I was able to fight through all the adversity. I think something that people don't understand is a lot of people quit because of the way they look at the thing that they're doing. If I'm just looking at this thing like, I better get followers, I better get sponsors, I better be able to make money from this, I better get rider support, I better get t-shirts and energy drinks and helmets and all this other bullshit, the helmet is not worth your life. I can tell you that right now as I sit and look at my wall, and there's 8 Ruroc helmets on my wall. The helmet is not worth your life. But the cause, which is where I'm going to shift perspectives here, is when you fight for a cause and when you fight for something greater than you and greater than your own benefit, this is how, if it was possible, and I don't believe it is, that men could be happy, quote unquote happy. I use the word fulfilled. When things are hard, but things are worth it, you will be fulfilled. Pleasure to me is happiness, and I don't think it's something that anybody should chase, let alone men, because that's how you go down these rabbit holes of girls and drinking and sex and, spending, gambling, all these other things, because it's just like addiction to instant gratification. And I experienced all that before. Conversation for another day, okay? But I have experience in that department where you're constantly looking for pleasure. Of course, I was still doing this working out every single day, still riding every single day, but my spiritual depth was not there. And I was always constantly looking for pleasure and looking for something to fulfill me and make me happy all the time. And I got caught up in the girls and all that type of, partying. And thank God I stayed focused, and thank God I'm still here. And thank God I didn't, go down a extremely bad path that could have taken my life, but I got caught up in that. And kind of shifting towards what made things change and what made things deep and what really got to a point where I'm never going to quit. Because again, people get into, and back to what I was saying before about why people quit, is because their goals about what they're doing is purely based upon rewards. If it's not purely based on rewards, it's based upon very simple, very surface level ideas, right? My goal originally was that, can I throw my leg over this bike every day? And when I'm done, will people remember my name? That is a goal that's forever. Because again, like I said, all the sponsors and the handbrakes and all that shit, that's not worth your life. But when you fight for a cause, and the cause is, which started to develop about, 6 to 8 years into my journey, and I'll tell you why, is if you've been following me for a while, you guys have seen the why video. It's the video that's pinned on my YouTube channel right now. That video went absolutely nuts on Facebook. It went crazy viral, and I actually had a mom reach out to me. She sent me a message, and the message said, "Thank you for your why video. It made me understand why my son rides. I hope you stay safe, and I'm glad you found your why." So all the surface level things that I was focused on at that moment in time, the sponsors, the helmets, the brakes, all the bullshit, the comments, the followers, the fire emojis, every time I posted something, oh my God, I hope people like this. That message that I received from that mom woke me the fuck up. It woke me up. I fought for this bike for so long, only to come to a place where I was focused on fucking vanity metrics, fucking views, fucking helmets and handbrakes and all this other bullshit. And don't get me wrong, I'm super grateful for all the companies that I've worked with. I'm grateful for everything that has happened to me and all the opportunities I've been blessed with. But one thing I will say is none of those things are worth giving up the depth in which that I started riding this bike. And the moment that I received that message from that lady, my whole entire life flipped back to right where it was supposed to be. There's fucking meaning behind this. All the shit that I went through, risking my life, I realized that I just connected a mother and son relationship because I went through that. My parents hated that I rode. My family members turned their fucking back on me when I went to jail and got arrested and went to the hospital and couldn't walk for 6 months. I didn't hear from any of my aunts, uncles, cousins for fucking 6 months. Nobody checked on me because everybody thought I was a fucking idiot. Everybody thought I was throwing my life away. And then this moment and this one fucking message from this lady changed everything. It took me back to the old Nazi Nate. And it was like, damn, this is why you went through all this. This is why, to make this type of impact. And not only that, but the following year, I got to step on stage in front of people where I'm not even qualified to be there. Professional speakers, people that own nonprofit organizations. One guy owns a construction company that's doing $20 to $50 million a year. I don't belong there. But my story is so powerful, and my perspective about the bike and how it morphed me and changed me into a man with depth is so powerful. The places that I went, right, mentally, to get to where I was at, morphed me into the man that I am today. The fact that I didn't get lost in the simplicity of this world with the things that I wanted, and I was able to, not that I didn't get off track, but I was able to keep my original goal and my original love for the game and transfer that into all other areas of my life and understand that I can't ever go down that path again. And so to describe that path would to be these short-term, non-purposeful goals that a lot of people set. And, you know, I personally, throughout my journey in riding, I didn't earn a lot of money on the bike. And I didn't earn a lot of money through jobs either. And when I say that, earning a lot of money is subjective to everybody, but I had just touched six figures at a job before, and I realized that's the goal for everybody, right? Normally is six figures. This day, 2024, six figures is nothing. You can barely live off six figures. But this is 2018. Six figures was doing something. And within that, I realized, whoa, like, shit, now what? Right? And then it's like, well, more. But I realized that wasn't the ticket. It wasn't the money. It was how I was making the money. Okay. So I wasn't making the money on my own. I was working for somebody else. I had to be there when they wanted me to be there. I had to say what they wanted me to say. I had to wear what they wanted me to wear. And I spoke about this before in another video. Not only that, but hey, just to let you guys know, you represent the company. So whenever you go out and you go to other restaurants, and I wasn't drinking at this time, but when you do, they were telling people this, is when you go out to other restaurants, you go out to other bars, don't act a fool, don't do this, don't do that. I wasn't doing that anyways, but so you own me. So I'm going to make $8,300 a month is six figures, and you own my life. I have to base everything around this. When I go to the gym, when I spend time with my family, all these things, because I got to get to work. If I don't get to work, I don't make the money, and then I don't have my goal, right? And again, that was finish line syndrome. It wasn't deep. It wasn't meaningful money. It was finish line syndrome, simple ass money. I want to make six figures. Okay, cool. You did it. Now what? And now that I'm my own boss, I have a videography company, a content creation company doing six figures. It is a completely different outlook. The money and what the money means is completely different. And then I'm going to take it one step further with you. So I used to make, when the restaurant that I was talking about first opened, it was so busy, I was making six figures. And then I got down to the point where I was making like $5-6 grand a month. And this is again, 2018. This year specifically, and actually this month, I just got paid $5K to do one job. This is one video. This is one shoot, one video, one job, one client, $5K, close to my old monthly salary in one day. And then I get hit again with this finish line syndrome idea. That was a goal. I realized that. I hit that and I was like, damn, I remember when I wanted to make my old monthly salary in one day. And then I stepped back and realized, but it's not the way I want to do it. I got caught up again in finish line syndrome. Yeah, did I hit a goal that I'd always been wanting to do, get my old monthly salary in one day? Absolutely. But I realize the business that I'm running right now, though it is very powerful in the idea that I have a lot of time freedom, I get to spend time with my wife and kids, I get to control my schedule, do all the things I want to do, work with the people I want to work with, don't work with the people I don't want to work with. But my current business that I run, that is my main source of income, there's no meaning behind it. And personally for me, for what I know within my journey in the last 12 years that I've experienced in something that I would die for every single day if you asked me. And the last, obviously since I had my family, things have changed. But before that, before I had my kids and before I was married, all the way up until 2020, from 2012, so 8 years, if you asked me every single day, I would fucking die on that bike. I reached a place in my life where not a lot of people experience, is that they find something that they're willing to die for. Once you're exposed to something, you cannot be unexposed and you cannot come back. I need that in my life to be fulfilled because I've reached that fulfillment before. Again, a lot of men live quiet lives of desperation. They die far before they are buried. They die far before they are buried. And it's because they don't ever find the moments, or they never find the thing that makes them really believe what life is about. And I believe that for men to be fulfilled, you need a life with meaning, and you need a cause to fight for. You need a cause to believe in, something that's greater than you. Making money, this is opinion that it's against very popular belief. I think is a very simple task. I've 10x'd my income in this last year as far as what I can charge per what I'm doing, and it hasn't satisfied me one bit. Again, I made my monthly salary, my old monthly salary, in one day this month, and I felt nothing. And then I have a private men's group. Again, like I said before, if you're interested in that, DM me. We'll see if you're a good fit. I do those Zoom calls on Sundays for free, and I get more excitement and more of this alive feeling talking about self-development and talking about adversity and the things that I fought through for free than any amount of money I've ever gotten paid. And I truly believe that this is the ticket for you to be fulfilled in your life. All I need to do is do this exact thing and get paid for it. And I believe that I would be on the path to my purpose. And I believe that for us as men and for people in general, that in order to be fulfilled, again, we're not looking to be happy, we are looking to be fulfilled. I believe that we have to find purpose. And that purpose is a mixture between what you're passionate about, what you believe you're created for, and how you can make an income doing it with serving people, which again is something greater than you. Okay? If you are a guy that has constantly set goals, constantly hit them, constantly been unfulfilled, or if you're a guy that sets goals and never hits them, and then you believe that your entire life is just, you're unhappy and you're useless and everything's a waste because you haven't hit it, I'm telling you, crossing that finish line is not all that it's cracked up to be. And I firmly believe that we have to go through this, right? If I didn't go through these moments in my life where I realized like the stuff that I was going after didn't have a deep enough meaning for me, and I felt this emptiness, and I felt like, God, why am I even doing this? Like, this makes no sense. Like, this has no purpose behind it. This has no impact is the true word that I'm looking for. This has no sense of impact for people. I personally, my biggest goal is to be remembered as somebody that made you believe in yourself, as somebody that when you came around me, you had such an experience that you were like, damn, I'm fired up. I want to go chase my dreams. I want to go, he hyped me up. Like, he made me believe in myself. And that type of impact and that type of legacy is what I'm truly looking for, is how will people remember me? And I know that if I'm on the right path, if I'm not looking to cross the finish line, if I'm not looking for some shortcut to make me happy, that I know if I go after something that truly means something to me, and it's a cause that, again, maybe it's a problem that never can get solved in my lifetime, but maybe I spend my whole entire life working to try to solve it. You know, I suffered a lot in my life, is mentally created adversity for myself, self-inflicted problems, and I don't want other people to go through the shit I've already been through. And that would be a cause that I know will never end. I know I can always work towards. And when I'm fighting for this, even making this video right now, I'm fulfilled. I'm quote unquote happy. If you guys liked and resonated with this video, hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with a friend. If you're interested in a men's community where we talk about exactly the things that I talked about today on this video, DM me. I would love to see if you're a good fit, and I will catch you guys in the next one.